Hi everyone, welcome to this blog post. This is my first blog post or vlog post, video, whatever it is, after the Nintex Inspire X event. So hopefully some of you got to go to the event in Las Vegas. If you didn't, definitely check it out next year when it'll be on again. Don't have an exact location just yet, but given the success of this one, it's definitely going to happen again next year because we've got a ton more people than we expected to be there, which was actually pretty awesome. Now, I've had this question around, I don't know, it came up today. It's come up in the last probably few months, and then over the years, it comes up every now and then. And it's around having recurring events in a calendar in 2013 and be able to query, query for all the events that are kind of coming up. Now, the query list action in Nintex workflow, I don't think it actually currently supports recurring events. It'll give you probably the first event, but not every other event that you'll see. So, for example, you can see over here, I have a random chat at 3 p.m., but I also have this meeting. It's a recurring meeting. It's every single day, starting on Monday, the 29th of February. And it's going to be every single day. If I was to actually jump to, the next month, you'll see it's every day. And I think I only did it up to April. Uh, yeah, it was only up to the 29th of April, just for 2 months. I think that is it. Yeah. All right. Now, my plan is to actually build a workflow that's able to query this list or query this calendar and tell me all the meetings that I have, including the recurring meetings, right? Now, there is limitations in SharePoint on how to be able to do this without actually writing code. So I'm trying to get this to work with just out of the box functionality. Now, of course, you guys have seen I've built a bunch of user-defined actions, and it's going to continue with this particular post. So let's jump to my user-defined action, and there it is here. Now, this actually is doing a few things. So what I'm going to do first is show you my input parameters and my output parameters. I have two input parameters. I have recurring span and the calendar name. So in this case, the calendar is called my calendar, so that's probably what I will use in the workflow that uses this user-defined action. Recurring span, let's open this up. You'll notice this can be, it's just a text field, but I only accept today, week, month, or year. Right? I've tried to cater for if anybody puts it in with lowercase or all uppercase or things like that. So those are the values that are available, that are valid for the recurring span. And this is because of a limitation that I have in regards to how I can call SharePoint to find out all my recurring events. Now, if you guys are aware of any way around this, like specifying a particular start and end date to be able to query for all the events during that time, definitely let me know. I have not been able to find that. All right, let's close that out. And then I have four output parameters. That's only because this is what I'm interested in. The event titles, the event locations, the start dates and times, and the end date and times of all those events, right? So they're all collection, they're all output variables. So how does this work? First of all, we have a build string action that just takes my recurring span and converts it to lower. So basically, if you put in week and you specify a capital W or a lowercase w or all capitals, WEEK, you'll see that I have just converted that all to lower. And that's because I want to use that in this switch action. Now you'll notice the four web service calls. Let's pop this open. We're calling the lists.asmx web service. I'm putting in a farm admin constant that I'm using. So if you guys want to use this user-defined action in your environment, you'll need to change this. Click on this lock and select your constant for your credentials that you want to use. All right. And now we're going to scroll down here and actually see how we're using those input parameters and what we're actually trying to do here. So first of all, you'll see there is a list name field in the SOAP packet, and that's where we're using our input parameter calendar name. And then as we scroll down, we've added this query node, and we're doing this date range overlap. Now I found this is the only way that I'm able to actually get it to give me all the values that I want for all those recurring events. So you'll notice I had to put these in. I took those out just to see what would happen, and I had a 500 error. So I'm leaving these in there for now. I also have the date time value right there, and I'm specifying today. So that's if you call the user-defined action and specify, I want all the events for today, it will give you all those. Now, let's see if there's anything else super important, and that is this node here, the query options node, and I've said expand recurrences, and I've set it to true. So that will take any event that I've created that specifies it's recurring, and it will expand all that out and should give me individual values back. Now, just going back to this where it says today, this will give me all the events that are on today, including recurring events. If I jump out of here and let's go into the month one, everything looks exactly the same except I have month over there instead of today. The same would be for the week. I would have week in there, and for year, I'd be able to have year. So like I said, this will give you all the data starting from today up to, say, a month from now, or a year from now, or a week from now. Right? I haven't been able to figure out how to get all the recurring events for a specific period, right? Say next Friday to the following Friday. I have tried to do things like, let's actually jump back in here. I have tried to add some other values into here or other conditions. So having some and conditions to check the event date to make sure that it's this particular start date and the end date, etc. But I was not able to get that to work. I was just getting empty data back. All right. Now, once all that is done, so it's going to go down one of these branches, we'll go into this query XML action because all that data was stored in a text variable called text XML. You can ignore this first one. I'm just messing around with trying to get the item count. But after that, we're just getting at the event date, which is the start date, the end date, the title, and the location. I'm storing each one of these into the appropriate collection parameter that we received. So you can see, pretty straightforward. Actually, I should mention one other thing. In here, if I went into right here into view fields and I created some view fields, some fields that I want to get back, I would get nothing back, which is why I've left this empty. So I'm getting all the XML back, and then I'm parsing all that with this query XML action. All right, pretty straightforward. Now, how do you use this user-defined action? I built a site workflow to test this out. So let's jump into the site workflow. Here is my get recurring events user-defined action. I've specified the recurring span is a week. My calendar name is called my calendar. And then I have a bunch of collection variables that are all my where everything is going to be stored, right? Titles, location, start date, end date. All right. Now, the next thing is I just want to parse all that data. So you probably want to do other stuff, but let's say you want to iterate through each one of these. I have a for each that is going through every single title in the collection variable and storing that in a title text variable. And I'm also storing the index. So let's rename this and just say get titles. Inside the for each, I have some collection operations. So this one is getting the location. So out of the collection of event locations, doing a get at the index that we're currently at, and I'm storing it in a variable, a text variable called text event location. So I can do the same thing for here and say get location, get start date time, and we'll do this one, get end date time. And then all I'm doing is logging each of those. So through each of those events, I'm logging each of those values. So I'm going to publish this just so I don't forget and don't lose my label changes. Whilst doing that, I'm going to jump to this workflow history. This is an example of going through a single week, starting from right now, and getting all the values that we want. So you'll see on the given this is a leap year, on the 29th of February, we have a meeting from 12 till 1. It is a meeting and it's in Salt Lake City. On the 1st, which is 1st of March, same thing. We also have tomorrow at 3 p.m. till 4 p.m. we have a random chat and it's going to be online. And then you'll see other meetings. So these are all those recurring events. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, we have 7. So you can see I'm getting all the data that I expect to get. Yeah, there you go, perfect. Now you can tweak this any way you like. I'm going to share out this user-defined action. I've decided I'm going to start sharing out the actual UDA file. So let's actually show you where that is. So I'm going to go to Manage User-Defined Actions. And here's my Get Recurring Events UDA. So for those of you who attended my UDA session with Troy Thompson from Focal Point, you'll know that we talked about the difference between a .uda file and a .nwf file. So I'm going to be sharing out this .uda file. So if let's actually highlight that, and I can do an export. And so when you want to import it, go into up here, Nintex Workflow 2013, Manage User Defined Actions, and then click on Import, and you'll be able to import this .uda file. The reason I'm not going to be just doing an export here is because when I do it through this Manage User Defined Actions, it actually keeps all the internal IDs. So that way, if you import this UDA file and publish it, you will get the design, you'll be able to tweak it, but what that means is the internal ID is there. That way, when you import the workflow, it will recognize that that user-defined action that I built is actually there. You don't have to do much reconfiguration, right? But just a reminder, you will need to tweak these actions in the user-defined action. You will need to go into this core web service action and change the username and password to either values or a constant that works in your environment. All right, thanks for listening in. Hopefully you guys got to learn some stuff. And if you have any questions, please post or add some comments to the end of this blog post. Thanks for listening in.